doing your marketing plan, and then gauge their personality. Do you guys go through the DISC here? You guys know what the DISC is? Yeah. Anybody not know what the DISC is? D-I-S-C? Okay. Yeah, sure. It's a personality assessment that if you haven't taken, you should seriously think about taking, and it'll help you understand your client. So there's four different personalities that are kind of the main personalities, or generally a mix of two of those personalities. D's are more of a driver personality. They're quick, they're fast-paced, they're a little bit more aggressive. I's are a little bit more boisterous. They want to be the center of attention. It's not a bad way. They're interesting. They like to be interesting to other people. They like to be liked. They're popular folks. S's are a little bit more sensitive. They fear change a little bit. They want you to speak in a softer way. They move a little bit more slowly. And C's, and this by no means am I teaching a class on this. You guys should all look this up. Don't take my word for it. C's are, I'm just going from recall here, and we're doing the best we can. C's are statistic, kind of. They're very numbers oriented. They're very, if you're talking careers, they're more of accountants. So figure out what your client is that you're working with and cater how you work with them. So talked about sending a buyer tour the day before. A C would love it if you did that. They could read every part of the listing they're going to. They could know exactly the school districts of it. They could do some planning themselves. They could have all the details lined up. A D probably won't read that email. They'll probably just show up and be ready to see the house and on to the next one if they don't like it. So just know the personality of your clients, and if you guys haven't done this, try and do that and see if that's something that you can kind of adopt into your own business.
So for those in the room that have experience with that, my question is, I had a friend who I was trying to sell in a house, and each time I showed him a listing on paper, he would just get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. And so it almost to me was like, is that a behavior I continue to show listings on paper, or do I just say, hey, I've got 5 houses lined up for you, we're gonna go take a look at them, and like just not even give them the paper on it. Like,
yeah. Sounds like yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I don't like these pictures, and I'm like, but the house is actually really amazing. We should go take a look at it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I would say some people work in different ways, and don't try to steer them if they don't want to. But you might say, as a salesperson, you might say, I think these are worth seeing in person.
Right.
I think this location is great for you. I think this home shows better. Even better, go preview it before.
Right.
Go see it the day before and say, I saw these 3. They fit your needs really, really well. Let's go take a look.
Okay.
So that's even better. Just go that one step beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see a person going opposite of whatever you're trying to do with them, yeah, bob and weave best you can. Stop sending them paper if they're just like, see it.
Right.
But, all right, guys, and this is the end of the schedule. 6 to 6:30, it's just final emails and checkout. For me, it's huge to be able to kind of get that last weight off your shoulders. What was that client that you missed that day because you had such a busy day of showings? What was that lead that you didn't follow up with? Take 30 minutes and try and get all of this off of your brain so that you can be present for your family, so you can be present for your friends, so that you can actually enjoy life beyond business. So that's what I try and do is the last part of my day is just really try and clear my brain. And if you're a list person, even better yet, make a list for the next day. Make a list for the next day. You know that you're not going to forget it when you go to dinner, when you go to sleep. You're already set up for the next day. So that's the schedule. Any questions on that, guys? That's an example. By no means should you take my word for it. You should try and practice a few of them and see what works for you.
So you're doing this 5 days a week, or?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I work a little bit more with the listing side of the business, sellers, so I don't work as often on the weekends. I still obviously answer my phone and answer forms or anything that clients may need.
Yeah.
But I'm not sitting open houses, so if you're
Okay.
spending your weekends sitting open houses,
Makes
you know,
sense.
2-3 days, take a day off in the week, you know. Real estate is meant to be somewhat flexible.
Yeah.
So if you're putting in 50 hours already, don't put in 60 just because the schedule mandates.
Like my son.
There you go.
And like going into the new market, for you, like your niche was kind of doing the for sale by owners,
Mhm.
and that's what worked for you?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys want to hear a little bit more about that? So I tried open houses. We had a CRM called Sync, so we paid for those leads. Do you guys ever experienced that? Paying for leads? Have any of you guys paying for leads on a monthly basis at the moment? A little bit. It takes obviously a little bit of time in the industry to understand which ones are worth paying for, which ones are not, which ones have the best return on investment, even to have the money to pay for them sometimes. So Sync, our team pays for leads, and those are either relocating leads or seller leads, whatever it may be. So initially, pardon me, when I was first getting into the industry in Portland, Sync and open houses were kind of what I was bestowed as far as a source to try and get business. And I had come from a luxury market, like you said, where I worked with just sellers. We did what was this year? Probably 2020. 2018, the team I was on, we did 31 transactions for $38 million. So only 31 transactions in one given year. So I worked, and every one of those was a seller client. So we found quickly, I had one open house closing and 0 closings from Sync within my first month at the new business. I said, maybe this isn't really the source that's working for me. Maybe I need to switch things up. So Greg, being the leader that he was like, hey, you know, there's for sale by owners in this market that you didn't have in the luxury market. They're not really, they don't exist in California as much either. Maybe you should give those a try. And he's like, but you have to own them. You have to, every day from 9 to 11, you have to call them. You have to pop by their open houses if they're hosting open houses themselves. You have to give them materials. So it was something that I really had to own, and we did this challenge called 90 and 90. You guys ever heard of that? If you haven't, you should look it up. Craig is, I think, the owner of that system. 90 listings in 90 days. And it's really like such a game changer in your business and mindset. You come in, and for 90 days, you focus strictly on listings. And so we did that challenge in April, I think we started, or May, and it kind of catapulted my career in Portland because we didn't end up with 90 in 90 days, but I think we stopped the challenge after 60 days because the trajectory was such that we needed to focus on servicing our existing clients. We ended, I think, day 70 with 40 something listing contracts signed. I can't remember the exact number, so. Yes.
So as a new agent, how do you break into getting listings? Because aren't there costs associated with doing listings, and what if you don't
There are.
have, like how much should a new agent save up in order to service a new listing successfully?
Great question. Yeah, I don't want to tell you guys to do bad things, which are take loans or use credit cards or any of that. I wouldn't suggest it if that's where you are. Buyers are ultimately almost free, and if you can get your foot in the door with buyers and you can get good enough traction doing so, I suggest doing so. If you have this I'm going to succeed mindset, which is what I kind of had to have coming into a new state. My wife took a job and we relocated, and I came from making decent money in California to making 0 in Portland, and I had this mindset that I was going to provide for us and our family, and there was no failure. So if you go into it with that mindset and you want to follow a listing, I have no doubt that you will get a listing, and that money that you put towards that listing will pay you back because you will pay the commission on that. But I would say partner with some agents in the room or in the office that have done listings, that are more listing heavy, and talk to them about the expenditures they have. Are they staging the home? Are they having professional photography? What is it costing to market it on particular websites? What are those costs associated with it? And create a plan and a budget and find a way to save that money for that first listing. That would be my suggestion. But it's difficult.
All right.
Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, there's some initial costs. Do you have a suggestion?
I'll say, are you joining a team? because your team, if you're joining a team, if they have the value proposition that they're going to pay
Mhm.
for your photography, pay for your marketing, pay for your signage, then there you go for that, so.
Yeah, Keller Williams is probably the biggest brokerage that is very team-centric, very team-positive, that occasionally there's a rainmaker or some agents that are established in such a way that they bring on proteges and newer agents that are newer to the business or new to the industry or just even new to the area. I'm on a team myself, but I have years of experience. And it just, if their value proposition, like she mentioned, includes specific fees that you will pay a split, obviously, for that. But if it allows you to catapult your business in such a way that you are successful, might be something you consider.
I actually joined a team before we moved here to get their systems and everything, their whole team structure down. So in the event that we grow, is our intent that we could start our team, and that was their value proposition. You know, we had a couple different splits, but they pay for everything. All you had to do is get on the phone and get business.
So I'm considering joining a team, and I know that there's a lot of really good teams in Keller Williams. How would you know if you're joining a good team or not?
Research. Yeah, research, see their past sales, how much business they've done, look at their reviews. They probably have client testimonials, talk with other agents that have maybe worked with them on a transaction. Yeah, it's difficult. It's just like choosing the right industry or business to be a part of. Do your research.
If I was coming on as a new agent, I would join the team. They had all the things.
Yeah, someone that, is continually training, taking bowl classes, going to the convention, someone that's investing in their, I think that's important to me if I'm looking at people that I want to partner with,
Yeah.
someone that's all in as a professional.
Yeah. Yeah, that has the mindset that you want as well, right there. They're working with the clients, or they have the schedule that you want. They've had the success that you want, right? Just find someone that you partner well with. Any other questions there, guys? Okay, so we went through a few things. We went through time blocking, lead gen, a little bit about script practice. You guys feel we talked enough about script practice? You guys mentioned you can kind of do it here. Something I'd suggest doing. We talked about just really objection handling is.
That for me was huge because I took it very literal and thought that I had to spend hours a day memorizing scripts. When really the whole key point of script practice is to learn the script, but learn more how to overcome the objections.
Yeah, I would say, yes, you should still memorize them,
Memorize.
but don't use them verbatim. Have them for recall, but don't use them verbatim. Find a way, it's just really a mind warm-up is what we use script practice for now. Our agents are pretty well trained, where we have these memorized. We don't need to go, when we're always going through new scripts, right? Time of year changes, so your script should always change as well. Are you using interest rate script now? Are you using seasonality scripts because it's December and it's not July? You should always be changing whatever script you're using, probably weekly, and then always using objection handling. Are you hosting an open house this weekend? Should you script and role play how to capture a lead in an open house? Absolutely, yeah. So just constantly change those, and there's a mastery level that you don't think you can ever get to. So yeah, memorization is part of it. Other part is objection handling. So cool. Let's go through a couple of your guys' questions. So, friend is an agent. Why should I use you? Great, fantastic. Your friend's an agent. There's X amount of real estate agents here now. How many transactions did they close last year? Oh, perfect. What did they get their home for? What interest rate did they get them locked into? Do they have a mortgage expert that they work with? Just find something that sets you apart and actually pin them against you as a professional instead of a friend. You're never going to beat a friend, and if it's a brother, or a mother, or a sister, there's some fights that aren't worth picking. There's some fights that you're not going to win. I will take it occasionally. You'd be like, you know what, great. It sounds like they work in X area. I'm a specialist in this condominium. I'd love to pay them a referral fee and talk about working together.
I say, do you want to remain friends?
Great, yeah.
Something goes south during the transaction, your friends now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah, always keep it, I would say keep it lighthearted as best you can. It's like, oh yeah, would you like to remain friends? I like that one. Do you like mixing business and pleasure?
It's the truth too, you know? I mean, really.
But find something that sets you apart. You know, be the expert in that area. Or, oh, I see that they work a lot with sellers. I myself work specifically with buyers. I negotiate contracts on their behalf. I've closed X amount of buyer deals, or my office has closed X amount of buyer deals this month alone. I'd love to sit you down and just talk about what our value is. Or, fantastic, I'm sure your friend's a great agent. Would you be interested in a 15-minute, 20-minute no obligation consultation to see if perhaps our business model fits your needs better, or perhaps I could help you in a way that would get you into your home just as well as theirs, or better maybe. So just find a way to, I don't want to say dodge the objection, but a way around it.
You can say, like, what is important to you in this sale? Is the price more important than the timing? Is the, figure,
Yeah.
dig a little deeper and then say, oh, interesting, I just sold something in Kihei Gardens that was, 10% above whatever. I mean, figure it out, but
Yeah.
you have to ask them questions and not just try to push your own perspective on them.
Great.
But you need to know what they want.
Yeah, that's a great point. Dig deeper. Find out their reason for that objection, so that you can actually meet it head on. Yeah.
And they
Anybody-
give me a chance. I understand you already have a relationship with them. When they make you a presentation, would you let me make the presentation as well? And
Yeah.
just make an objective decision about who has the skills that you need at this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm free to you. My time is free. I'd love just to have the option, and that way you can make an educated decision about who's the best agent for you. Yeah, great. Thank you for the feedback. Other states database, Montana, is that right? So, where in Montana?
Helena,
Is that cold?
the whole state's
Snowing, right?
cold in the winter.
Would they love, I mean, they probably hate you at some point, but would they
I
love
have
to see?
lost friends on Facebook because of what I posted.
Because of your
Oh, yes.
pictures.
Yeah.
So, what I do is, for me, the difference, for your difference is weather. For my difference in Portland and California is price. So I have a lot of friends, I'm young 30s, right? I have a lot of friends that are having families, getting married, whatever it may be, and they can't afford a home there. It's $1.3 million is the average price point. Most of the area I lived in was 1.8. How long does it take to save for that down payment? So I love talking about price point. Like, I'll take a picture of a home and be like, wow, this is under $1 million, and it's some palatial estate in Portland, Oregon. This is under $1 million. Can you believe it? And then talking about the income disparity. In reality, salaries in Portland are probably there's still like 75% or 60% of that they are in California. So if cost of housing is 30%, but yet you're only taking a 20% pay cut, doesn't that make more sense? So find whatever it is that sets your area apart, and see if they've got friends, family, probably parents that might want a second home, a vacation home, and find it out whatever it is that they might find some interest in. And then I wouldn't say blast it as much, maybe target specific people that have interacted with your posts that don't hate you for posting beach pictures every day.
Well, I think I've kind of weeded them out because
Yeah, there you go.
it's been 2 years. But how do you, more specifically, my question was, I'm introducing my friends to the fact that I'm a real estate agent.
Okay.
And I've been trying to work it more as, well, if you're looking to buy or sell a house in Montana, come to me as the
Referral
resource.
business.
I'll vet the agents for you.
Great.
And then give you three recommendations.
That's
But
great.
how do I set myself apart by doing that?
So a lot of people, they find an agent from convenience,
Right.
which is that's probably how most people select us. Sometimes we chase their business, but a lot of the time it's we're hosting that open house. We called them out of the blue. It's some type of convenience factor. So what you said is you said you're gonna research and give them the top 3 in that area to be able to work with them. That's really the best way you can pitch it.
Okay.
I feel is you are in the industry. Nobody knows what is required of a transaction more than you. You're a licensed real estate agent. Let me look on the back end of how customers are satisfied with these agents, how well they're selling in a particular area. Let me ask them the hard questions so that you can meet with the best, and you guys don't have to waste your time
Right.
interviewing any of these people.
Right.
I'll only give you the cream of the crop.
Right.
So yeah, do it as like obviously as a favor in a way,
Right.
but providing value is the only way.
Okay.
Is you're doing some legwork to save them time, money, stress. Doesn't that make sense for me? Just give me 5 days, I'm gonna do all the background,
Right.
and in 5 days I'll email you the best.
So then, when I'm calling my friends in Montana and telling them that I'm a real estate agent, just approach it from, like, when we kind of get into that business conversation. Now, if we've done the whole fourth thing, and now I'm talking about what I'm doing, then just say, hey, so I know, if you know anyone, another service that I offer, because I know you may or may not know anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in Hawaii, but if you know anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or invest anywhere in the United States, just like, you know.
Have a script.
And I would say
You have a
even-
script for me? Oh, thank God.
Yeah, there's for it. I'm not good at it, I apologize. That's not my expertise, but I would say there's some people you can be flat honest with them.
Right.
Guess what? I'm a real estate agent. What's so awesome about being a real estate agent is we're paid with referral fees. If I give you the best agent and they do an awesome job for you, I still get, I'm paid for that.
Right, okay. So
Yeah.
just being honest about it then.
Sometimes that's
the
okay.
only secret, okay.
If they're a good friend or a family member,
Right.
they want to see you succeed. They want to see you
Right.
do well. Sometimes just being as honest as that
Right.
can outline it. But there is a script for maybe a little bit colder conversation that can work really well. I just don't know it.
Well, there's also a book that you can look up the top agents in that area. That's what I did.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, you don't have to rethink this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the research has
It's
been
been
done.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Save time. Getting close to the end there, so we've gone through a few of these. Other question was to break into a luxury market. What do you guys, how many of you work in luxury at the moment? Any of you?
Want to?
Want to? It's not always all it's cut out to be, I'll be honest. Everybody wants to work in luxury, they're a different clientele. Just be prepared. So, how to break into luxury? It's gotta be somewhat natural. Like I said, you have to pay a little bit to play the game. People that are in that market here, are they in-state if they're luxury here, or a lot of these luxury homes out of state, second homes? Second homes? Okay. So how would you solicit that business? Just, I'm asking out of inquisitiveness. Anybody know?
Join the country club.
Awesome.
There's a connection between commercial real estate and people who are doing business here or are relocating here, second market. So there's a natural tie if you are interested in commercial and luxury, they tie together.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned you're Carol, you're in
Yeah, and
commercial. And you're in commercial as well. Okay. Commercial meaning, so is that retail? Is that industrial?
yes.
We're really such a small island, we're not really keen to kind of have
All of it.
all of it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's you guys use LoopNet here. Is that your site?
A little bit.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, and you're saying there's a kind of a tie between those clients.
Yeah, that's what I understand is that the people who are doing business with in commercial, you know, also have assets. And then if they run a business here and they don't live here, they want to have a second home here. Or if they have a second home here and they do a business on the mainland, they want to see if it can prosper here. There's just a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of tie-in there.
And are we talking multi-unit as well? You guys do any?
There is some, yeah.
Got it.
There's not a whole lot of multi-unit available
Just
here
in general.
in terms of the whole business. Because we don't, you know, there's not a lot of development except for residential development, not the multi-housing.
Yeah, okay. Well, sounds good. So luxury, it sounds like there's some cross relationship on who those clients are. Luxury, it's different in every state. Here, like I would assume, like you said, it's a lot of probably country club and even living in specific buildings. Are any of
What are they
the,
at?
What's that?
Wailea.
Wailea. And are these single-family homes, or these condos? What is it you guys see mostly? A lot of condos.
And they're both.
Yeah. I would say it's gotta be natural. Try and farm to that area. Try and door knock that area. There's a stigma that people in luxury, those neighborhoods can't be door knocked. Do you guys do any door knocking here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get their calls and contacts, and you can knock on their doors just like you can any other home. The difference being is those people are going to vet you on a different level than someone selling a $600,000 home. If they have a $2 million asset or $3 million asset, you better know your stuff. You better know your business. You better have a plan in place to get their home sold. You better understand what sells luxury homes. Because I would assume luxury homes here, just like anywhere else in the world, take a little bit longer to sell. So you better have a plan to continue to market that property. If you're from another state and you're licensed in another state, awesome. Well, you can market in that other state as well. That's something that sets you apart. But what I would say is how we break into it is difficult. You've got to really, I would say, master what you're working in now before trying to break into luxury. It's really not something you can get started in. You have to be a well-seasoned agent to be able to. The asset is still the same process, but the people are different, and that's the issue.
So what, like, there's an alphabet soup of different credentials that we can all eventually earn. What are some of the credentials that would look good next to your name to break into luxury after we've had 2 to 3 years of success here?
It's a great question. I actually don't know. Do you guys, anybody here have the idea of those types of credentials that are in the state?
You know that some people take those different classes to earn those other acronyms.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just say, I mean, I'm not into luxury either, but the biggest thing would be know your stuff. You really know that market, start studying it, maybe shadowing some other luxury agents. You know,
Yeah.
study.
So there are a lot of acronyms, and I don't mean to put them down in any way. I don't have any of them myself. It didn't require that. But you can go to specific courses that teach you how to facilitate those transactions. And as long as you sell that, don't just get the acronym and understand it, but sell what you've done, you know, as additional education that sets you apart to that clientele. I think it's probably worthwhile.
And then you say that you need to pay to play to get in there, like, so specifically, what do you mean by that?
So most luxury homes, they're going to require a little higher end photography than a normal house. They may, and I don't know if this stays different, they may expect that you cover the cost of staging the home, which could be $1,500 to $5,000. Some stagers, if you work well with them, do you guys do a lot of staging here? Do you guys see a lot of staged homes? Okay. If you work well with them, they can give you a 30-day, net on the bill, right? They stage the home, 30 days from now, you actually have to pay up. Or some, if you work really well with, they may be allowed to be paid through escrow, depending on how well the market's moving. So that's out-of-pocket cost. Photography is normally out-of-pocket cost. Most of the time, they're going to require a little higher-end flyer. You may do an open house with some swag or with some, high-end bottled waters. some
Broker opens.
Broker opens.
Are we talking like $1 million listing open houses, broker opens? Or
Not quite.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Almost.
It's a little extreme.
It just takes more sales effort to it. Yeah, I think luxury car versus, minivan.
Right.
It just takes a little bit more effort to capture the eye of that particular buyer than it would a buyer of the normal price point home. So you have to market it in the best light possible. And the client, the seller, will expect that of a luxury agent if they're hiring you. Because your competition will be doing that. They may offer a spread in luxury magazine. We didn't do that, but you may. You may be a Zillow partner. Anybody here a Zillow Premier agent? No, not yet. So Zillow is loved or hated by real estate agents. Two sides of the coin, mostly hated here. Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly from KW. We are a Premier agent. We are a Best of Zillow agent. We're up the other side of the coin. But that may be something that you sell to that client, that you get to that level, we are a premier agent on Zillow, meaning your home is seen by more people statistically. Your home is at the top of the search criteria. Your home is this, that. We have done this many sales on Zillow, so we have this star reviews. People come to our page specifically. We own a website called Find Portland Houses, so just a separate domain name, and you can do anything like that on GoDaddy, whatever it is you want to do, you know, Maui Homes. That's another way of selling yourself, is that you have unique users that come to you directly. What sets you apart? So that's something that might help you there as well. But breaking into it, it's really just knowing that area. You've got to either work, live, have friends in that school district. You've got to really kind of try and own it.
So find a way to network in that community.
Network within it, be a part of it. Yeah. What do? You play tennis with people? Do you play golf? I mean, you have to be a little bit cut of that cloth, or get yourself to that level by selling normal residential real estate to be able to play in that world a little bit. Yeah.
I think that Michelle said that to join the, that usually had to have a certain number of transactions before that.
Most of the time you have a certain number of transactions, yeah, you do. So to have the luxury international designation, you have to have, Keller Williams, just like any other business, wants you to portray them in a good light, right? So you have to prove to them that you have the ability to sell a luxury house when their sign or their brand is on this home. They don't want it up for sale for 400 days and, you know, a disgruntled client. So they want to see that you've done successful business in order to get to that level anyway. That's about all I went through today, guys. Anything you have questions on? We didn't go through 411. We're a little bit past time. It's a little bit self-explanatory. And you guys should go through it through bold at some point. Any other follow-up questions? My class? Yeah, there's a sheet here for how you guys review me as a speaker when you get a second. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'll do a little quick selfie here, like we talked about social media is a real thing. I'll get you guys all in the background. If everybody wants to stand up or move or whatever they want to do.
Shaka, throwing you shakas, Rob.
All right, everybody in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you guys for being a great interactive audience. Appreciate your time.
How long are you here for?
I fly out tomorrow. We've been here 5.5 days. Now it's time to go.